My name is Ashley Howe, and this is my family history story. My grandpa was a really smart man, and he got his degree in physical engineering. He actually was recruited by Harvard to go to school there, but instead he chose to go to the London School of Economics to pursue his master's degree. So, when my mom was only 2 years old, her family moved from Regina, Saskatchewan to London. And she was just learning how to speak then, and she'd go over to the neighbor's kid's house and she kind of picked up their accent, which was a really proper English accent. I would describe it kind of like how the Queen would speak. And my uncle, who was a few years older, went to public school. And so there he was introduced to like a mash of different English accents. So he came home, I think mostly it was a Cockney accent is what they call it, but mostly I think it was just a confused kid accent because it was a bunch of different English accents combined. So when my mom would speak and her brother would speak, like it was just really funny, I guess, to listen to them. But so after my grandpa got his degree, they moved back from London to Canada. And my grandpa just had a passion for learning, and he would actually, believe it or not, read the dictionary. Like, I'm not just saying like look up a couple words here and there. He would actually like page by page read the dictionary. And it's been kind of a running joke like in our family. If you didn't know the answer to something, it's like, oh, go ask Grandpa Bear. Kind of like today how people say, oh, just look it up on Google. Grandpa was our Google. So, and every week he would go to the library and he'd come back with an armful of books. And even if he was sick, he would send my grandma to go to the library and get more books. And in their house, they actually had a room where it was just kind of for reading. It was his library room, and they had a big table where he would lay out all of his books with a big comfy reading chair. And he would actually have, believe it or not, like 10 books open at a time, and he'd be in the middle of reading all of them. And not only did he have a love for knowledge, but he also had a passion for cookies. And so when my brother and I were little, every weekend we'd go over to their house and we'd make cookies with my grandma. And every time my grandpa would come in and he'd say, oh, I'm going to have to test those, make sure they're not poisonous. And so every time I pull the cookies out of the oven, I'd take out the first cookie and put it on the plate. My brother would get a glass of milk, and we'd take it over to my grandpa's reading room, to his chair, and we'd set it down and we'd eagerly just kind of wait to see what he would say. And I don't know why we would, because he'd say the same thing every time, and that was, oh, this cookie's poisonous, I'm going to have to eat all of them. So that was a pretty fond memory for me. And I wanted to share this story because my grandpa was such an extraordinary man, and his passion for knowledge and always wanting to learn more is just something I will always look up to.
Stop.